Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well and find yourself in good spirits. It's about 2 in the morning. I can't sleep, so here I am. Today, I want to give a lesson out of, I think it's Machiavelli. Could be Sun Tzu. The first one is, I'll give two, that when you reward someone, you should do it a drop at a time so that they savor the reward. And that when you punish them, you should punish them you should do it swiftly and then be done once it's happened. And along those lines, this would be Machiavelli. He says that men can accept punishment when they're wrong. They'll take it. What they can't accept is being stolen from or people messing with their women. Because I'm digressing on as far as being Sancho's and thinking that's cool. I would say that almost every great strategy book says that if you want to be a prince, a ruler of men, that's something that's never on your mind. The Kama Sutra, which is a guide for kings and queens to mac people, and it has a section on how to mac married women, it still says that you shouldn't do that if you want to be held in high regard by the people. Machiavelli says it. I don't know if Sun Tzu does, but I know there's a lot of others that do who have provided wisdom that's centuries old and stands the test of time. So back to the guidance that a reward be given in drops and a punish swiftly and then be done with it. Don't bring it up again because you build resentment. And I've read somewhere that a person who can master analogies masters the world. And so I do try to be good with analogies, metaphors. And the best I can explain that, maybe I'll do it criminally and then family-wise. I'll start with family. So if it's Christmas morning and your kid has 30 gifts, let's say you're rich and Santa loves rich kids more because they get more stuff, right? Your kid has 30 gifts and we've never been in that situation. If you let them open all 30 at once, they lose interest in all of them pretty quick because their mind is racing. And if you were to space it out, okay, today you open 5, tomorrow you open 5, the day after that you open 5, or even one a day, they'll get more out of it. They'll play with that toy the whole day and then maybe get bored when they get the next one. When you open them all at once, you get bored with them pretty quick and then you jump to the next one and the next one. So you never really got to enjoy each one. And actually, what's funny is the closest I can remember that happening was when we lived in the projects. I don't know, I think we got some gifts from like community organizations, and the field work was good that year because I remember I got a BB gun and I got a lot of toys, and I opened them all and I was bored with some of them like right away. And so, having been given one each day, I would have enjoyed that more. Separately, if, I made a mistake and let's say, my dad took off his belt and whipped me for it. And then he said, don't do that again. And then he let it go. And I knew I fucked up. I could accept that. But if the day after the whooping, I'm out playing and he sees me and he gets mad about what I did again and then decides to whip me a second time for it and then a third time for it, it's going to build resentment. And at some point I'll start to hate him and I'll figure it doesn't matter what I do. it's always going to be against me. And so that's why you should give it swiftly and then let it go. And this applies to your kids. You know, I'm making this applicable to children. But I also said I'd give like a street analogy. And so I'll say, let's say, you know, you're the boss of a team of people, and you guys, you know, come up. And as part of that come up, you're the one that's distributing money to each of the team. And it could be even a work thing. It doesn't even have to be anything like streetwise. If you're an honest person and you're not trying to jack them, like you really holding the money for them and giving it out in drops. You know, let's say everybody shares $1,000 and you ain't trying to take it, but you're gonna give them that $1,000, $100 a day, which is plenty for whatever their needs are. Let's say you take care of everything else. You know, for those 10 days, they look forward to seeing you, to getting their $10 or their $100. And in that time, you know, you guys go mow a whole bunch of other lawns or something, whatever. If you gave them the whole 1,000 on the first day and they went to a bar, they blew it all. And now they don't have money for the next 9 days till your next job. They're going to start feeling like they're not making enough. Like you're holding out on them. And possibly. And even if you have demonstrated good character, their own desperation could make them loose cannons. Whereas if they knew they were counting on that every month and every day, and they trust you to not be trying to get over, but imparting discipline, that's the lesson right there. And the same would apply if someone messes up and you keep punishing them for the same thing. It builds resentment. So that was one lesson. The other lesson was, there's so many. And I wanted one that paired well with this one, but it's slipping my mind. Well, I guess it's one lesson today. Dole out rewards a drop at a time so that people savor them. And punishments should be swift, and then let it go, and they'll move forward with you. Oh, I remember what the other lesson was. It was about in trying to be kind to a small group of people, you might end up being cruel to a large group of people. And on the surface, people don't always see that. This is like, I think, kind of high-minded thinking, to be honest with you. And here's the example, the analogy that I came up with. So I used to take the bus to work. And there was a lady who maybe once or twice a week would be running to catch the bus. And a couple people would say, hey, hold the bus. And the lady's coming, and they would stop the bus and wait for her to catch up. And after a few times, you know, I thought back to my ancient wisdom I read about you're being cruel to a lot of people and being kind to a small minority of people sometimes. And in this case, the analogy that I took from this was that the 40 people on that bus already, when the lady comes running late, got up early and were ready to go when the bus came along. I don't know this lady's reasons, but And I'm not saying they're not deserving of understanding. She could have kids, that she's getting ready for school, all kinds of stuff. But in regularly being late and the bus stopping to be kind to her, it might make people who were on time at the bus stop late for their own jobs. And it might be more of them that are late than just her. And so that was the analogy I got there. And it's funny because I read these books so much that everything becomes second nature. If I get into an elevator and I see 4 people coming, it doesn't matter their position or their status. That's irrelevant. If I see 4 people coming to get in the elevator and there's only 2 of us in there, I'll push the button for the good of a greater group. I don't know them. It's not based on ethnicity, status, wealth, any of that. There's just 4 people that I can help get on at the expense of 2 of us. And I tell people, hey, if it's just me in the elevator, I will always hold it for you. But if there's 8 of us and if it's just you out there, I can't. You know what I mean? Because now I'm holding 8 people up to help one, and that's not fair to these 8. Now, if they don't care, I might, like, if I see them coming out, I might turn around and be quick with it and say, hey, you guys mind if I hold it? And everybody usually says, yeah. I don't think I've ever had anyone say no. But because I read these so much, that's just ingrained in me now to try to operate for the greater good. And that was the other lesson. And that's from Machiavelli. And then there's a third lesson that I think warrants maybe a deeper dive. And that's about choosing allies. He says that you should never go to people bigger than you to fight your battles, because when that battle's won, you didn't win it. They fought it, and now you belong to them. That when you fight battles, you should look beside you to people that are in the same position as you, and then collectively go wage those battles. Because when you win, you know, you guys won together. It wasn't one person. And if you lose, you still have each other to console and lift up to try again. So that was it in a nutshell. I could maybe explain analogies to that one, but then I'd be going into 3 stories and 4 and 5. And I do got insomnia, so nah, I'm good. I'll leave it at 2.5. Have a good one.